Hello students, welcome to Shri classes. We'll continue with the lecture number 4, control and coordination in plants. Today we'll discuss about the movements of the plants, and I'll be concentrating on one particular section of the movements. So let us see. Control and coordination in plants. Really, it is a question how it is done. Why it is so? Why there is a question how control and coordination is provided in plants? There are few diagrams here to demonstrate that human beings have very good muscle structures. These muscles are attached to the skeleton and a network of nerves, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system together with muscular system or muscles. These are able to provide control and coordination in human beings as well as in animals. So nervous system and muscles together would be able to provide control and coordination in human beings. Of course in animals also. But look at this plant. In plants, no nervous system and no muscles. Plants do not have muscles as well as nerves. So what is the way control and coordination is achieved in plants? This is what this person is thinking, and equally I am thinking, and equally you are also thinking. How this is achieved, control and coordination, when in the absence of nervous system and in the absence of muscles, how do plants achieve control and coordination? Do you think or not whether plants do require control and coordination? Different parts of the plants need to be communicated amongst themselves or not? Isn't it? Definitely they require, there is a requirement for control and coordination for the plants. Leaves are growing only on the aerial parts, not on these things. Why the leaves are not growing on this stem here? That means for the leaves there is definitely going to be an instruction, or there could be some chemical which is triggering only in specific regions the growth, and therefore leaves could be growing at a particular region and not everywhere across the stem. And therefore here also, of course, so there are control and coordination. The movements are there, basically some movements are there. The movements need to be carefully controlled, and in order to control the movements, the coordination is also required. How this is achieved, let us see. Remember, plants do not have muscles, do not have nervous system, and do not have brain. So let us see how these plants achieve control and coordination. A small paragraph here, whatever I discussed, that is written. Animals have nervous system for controlling and coordinating the activities of the body, but plants have neither a nervous system nor muscles. So how do they respond to the stimulus? Exactly. The stimulus is basically caused by the surrounding environment, and how do plants respond to the stimulus is what we are going to see. Here, let's discuss some points here. This diagram illustrates the growth of the stem towards the light. Here, this diagram illustrates, these two diagrams illustrate germination of seeds. When the seeds germinate, the shoot part grows upwards above the ground, and the roots grow downward into the ground. Roots grow towards the force of the gravity. Shoots grow opposite to the force of gravity. Isn't it? Here, this is a sunflower. Always the flowers will be directed towards the sun. So how this is possible? These movements, how this is possible? So a few things over here, and let's hold this for the time being. Let us discuss one more here. This plant is called, this is a section of the plant, part of the plant, not section, part of the plant, called chui mui basically, or the scientific name for this plant is Mimosa pudica, which is also called sensitive plant, which is also called touch me not plant. Here, if you touch one leaf over here, all these 1, 2, 3, 4 all these leaves will close together. This closing action, and slightly they fall down also, this action is called folding and drooping. With respect to this plant, what is the terminology that we use? The moment we touch these leaves at one part, at one place, at one point, I'll say, if we touch these leaves at one point, these leaves will fold and droop. Slightly they hang downwards. Drooping is slightly hanging downwards. So what is that is causing the closing action and drooping action of these leaves when they do not have the muscles here for the movement of these parts, small leaf parts. So we can very well understand that there is a movement in plants. Here it is a folding and drooping. Here the top part of the stem taking a direction towards the sun. The shoots are growing above the ground against the direction of the force of gravity. Roots are growing towards the direction of the gravity. Sunflower is getting directed towards the direction of the sunlight. So 1, 2, 3, these are directional movements. What is that is controlling the direction here? The stimulus is controlling the direction. Here the plants are growing towards the direction of the stimulus. It will simply, the plant simply does not bend by itself. This direction, the bending action of this top portion of the plant towards the sunlight is due to growth of the plant. Here also the growth of this stem upwards and the growth of the roots towards the direction of the gravity is due to the movement, I'll say, the movement of the, here the movement is there, no? When the shoot grows, definitely I can say the plant is showing the movement. Here this movement is due to growth of the plant. This movement is due to growth of the plant. This movement turning towards the sun is also due to a particular growth inside the stem that takes place, and that is also growth movement. That means all these directional movements are growth dependent movements. Is it clear? These are all directional movements and growth dependent movements, and hence these are the examples for growth dependent movements, also directional movements, and dependent upon the stimulus. Those are governed by the stimulus. The movements are observed towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus. I am mentioning here towards the stimulus and away from the stimulus also. Here itself we will take the example. The force due to gravity is an external stimulus. Shoot grows against the force due to gravity, against the direction of the stimulus, whereas roots grow towards the direction of the stimulus. Is it clear? And here also the sunflower turns towards the light, sunlight, meaning sunlight is the stimulus, and in whichever direction the sunlight comes, towards that direction the turning takes place. So all these are the movements which are dependent upon the growth or controlled by the growth of the particular part of the plant. Therefore those are called growth dependent movements. Also these are directional movements. Also these are dependent upon the stimuli or stimuli dependent movements, and therefore such movements are called tropic movements. Tropic movements are exhibited due to growth of the plant either towards the direction of the stimulus or away from the direction of the stimulus, and therefore we say those are growth dependent and directional driven and dependent on stimulus. Now this part you have understood, tropic movements, keep it in mind. Let us talk about this plant, Mimosa pudica, touch me not, or chui mui plant. The point of touch is here, but why all these leaves are folding and drooping? Of course the diagram shows only two here, but definitely the moment we touch over here, in and around the surrounding leaves will fold and droop. That you can observe there. The point of touch is different, but the response is observed at different points. Meaning the response, which is the folding action of the leaves, it is not directional controlled. Do you understand? It is not direction controlled, and also it is not dependent upon the growth of a particular plant portion. The closing action or drooping action of the leaves, it is not dependent upon the growth of a particular part of the plant or a particular part of the leaf. No, it is not the growth that results into the movements. What results into the movement, closing and once again its opening, that we'll see later. First of all, the point of touch is different, the response is different, and hence it is independent of stimulus. It is not directional. If it is directional, wherever we touch, only towards that it should have closed. But here if we touch, all other leaves are also, the surrounding leaves are also closing, means definitely it is not direction driven, or it is not stimulus driven. Definitely it is not stimulus driven also. Therefore such movements which are growth independent, those are not dependent upon the growth, non-directional, there is no fixed direction. Directional means, are these closing towards the stimulus? No. If I touch here, this leaf is closing. Therefore, why this leaf should close if I touch over here? Therefore, the actions are not directionally driven. These are non-directional movements and independent of stimulus. Stimulus is a touch, of course. If we touch over here, why this should close? And therefore, these are independent of touch also, or independent of stimulus. And hence, please remember, chui mui plant, the responses in terms of folding of the leaves and drooping of the leaves is a nastic movement. What are nastic movements? Nastic movements are growth independent, independent of the direction, and independent of the stimulus. So this slide talks very clearly about two types of plant movements, mainly the two types of plant movements. One is growth dependent plant movement and growth independent plant movement. I hope you are able to understand. And to once again, growth dependent movements are directional movements dependent of stimulus and hence called tropic movements, the name given for that kind of movements. And movements observed in touch me not plants, in such movements, those are growth independent movements, non-directional movements, independent of the stimulus, and hence such movements are called nastic movements. So you have understood very clearly, tropic movements are the ones which are growth dependent, nastic movements are the ones which are growth independent. Clear? Read this, observe this yourself once again. Look at the diagram. I hope you have read all these contents and understood the main two types of movements in the plants, tropic movements and nastic movements. Next. Same thing I have discussed. All these are taken from textbook. Why I have taken from the textbook? I have told many times that please read NCERT textbook chapters. Very nicely written. Dear students, make sure if you read NCERT textbook chapters, really you will excel. So I'll read only. I have already explained. Whatever I have explained, those things are mentioned. I'll read here. Movements in plants. Animals have nervous system for controlling and coordinating the activities of the body, but plants have neither nervous system nor muscles. So how do they respond to the stimulus? Stimulus is initiated by the surrounding environment. So how the plants respond to this stimulus? That is the first question we asked. When we touch the leaves of Chui sensitive or touch me not plant of the mimosa family, under the mimosa family, that particular plant is called Mimosa pudica. Okay, they begin to fold and droop. Yes, we understood. When seeds germinate, the roots go down and the stems come up in the air. What happens? So all these two questions have answered. Firstly, the leaves of the sensitive plant move very quickly in response to the touch. There is no growth involved in this movement. Yes, discussed. On the other hand, the directional movement of a seedling is caused by the growth. Yes, the movement of the shoot and the movement of the root of the seedling is caused by the growth. That is a growth dependent movement. If it is prevented from growing, it will not show any movement at all. Absolutely right. So plants show two different types of movements. One dependent on the growth called tropic movements, and other independent of the growth called nastic movements. Clear? These points have been given in your textbook. What we added based on this? We added tropic movements and nastic movements. Next. Yeah. Now, this paragraph and this diagram is from the textbook. From this, 2 mark questions every year you can expect. And therefore, by marking this entire paragraph, reading and understanding, you will get 2 marks definitely. So right now 2 marks are into your pocket, provided you read the textbook paragraph. Okay, fine. So let us see nastic movement, immediate response to the stimulus, growth independent movement. All these things I have discussed. Examples: folding and drooping in Mimosa pudica. I will only read and this part will concentrate. Let us think about the first kind of movement, such as that of the sensitive plant. Since no growth is involved, the plant must actually move its leaves in response to touch. But there is no nervous tissue nor any muscles tissue. How does the plant detect the touch, and how do the leaves move in response to the touch? Answer for this question is here. Most important, whatever that I have underlined, all these are very important. The underlined part gives answer for this. Not underlined, the red letters over here, the red part answers this question. Let's read this one. If we think about where exactly the plant is touched and what part of the plant actually moves, it is apparent, means very clear, that movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. We touch the plant at one point, but all the surrounding leaves will droop, and therefore it is apparent that the movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. So information that a touch has occurred must be communicated to other leaves, If I touch at one point, all other leaves also must come to know that a touch has taken place at particular point. How this communication is established between different parts of the plant, that is what our objective to study. Clear? Now, so information that a touch has occurred must be communicated to different parts of the leaves, different leaves. The plants also use, देखिए थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिए, the plants also use electrical and chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. Plants use electrical and chemical means to convey from one cell to another cell of the information of touch. I hope you are understanding. The plants use electrical chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. But unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for conduction of the information. Nervous system is not there. Finally, again, as in animals, some cells must change shape in order for the movement to happen. How do the movements in the human beings take place? Cells contain special proteins. Arrangement and the change in shapes of the protein due to electrochemical impulse or the nerve impulse results into the contraction of muscles, and that results into the movements of the different parts of the body. I hope you are understanding what I am talking. But in plant cells, you do not have any special nervous system, neither muscles, but definitely the transfer of message of touch is taking place from one cell to another cell, adjacent cell, by electrical and chemical means. Do you understand that? It is taking place by electrical and chemical means from cell to cell. Okay? But unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for the conduction of information. Finally, again, as in animals, some cells must change shape in order for the movement to happen. That means in animal cells, as I said, change in shape of the cells takes place because of the presence of special proteins. But in this case, there are no special proteins also. Finally, again, as in animals, some cells must change shape in order for the movement to happen. Instead of specialized proteins found in animal muscle cells, plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking, and therefore in changing the shapes. What do you understand here? The folding and once again opening of the leaves after some time is due to change in shape of the cells. Unlike in human beings or animals, where you find special proteins present in the cells which change their shapes and the arrangement, thereby resulting into the contractions of the cells. That means cells also will change the shape and cause the muscle movement, and the muscles, as those are attached to the skeleton, the movements of the hands and legs will take place. So change of shape of the cells due to presence of specialized proteins in them is responsible that causes the motion of the muscles in animals. But in case of plants, these plant cells do not have specialized cells, and therefore that mechanism cannot be expected. Here, how do cells change their shape is by entry of water and exit of water. The cells shrink. By entry of the water, cells swell. By exit of water, the cells shrink. This causes the change in the shape of the cells, and that leads to the movements in plant cells or the movements in the plant parts such as leaves. That is what it is given here. So this paragraph once again I'll read. Please listen to me carefully. Even if you are bored, no problem, I will read, because it is very important part. If we think about where exactly the plant is touched and what part of the plant actually moves, it is apparent that movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. So the information that a touch has occurred must be communicated. The plants also use electrical chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. But unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for the conduction of information. Finally, again, as in animals, some cells must change shape in order for the movement to happen. But instead of specialized proteins found in animal muscle cells, plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them. Plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them. Plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking, and therefore causing the change in shape and causing the movements in leaves. This is the paragraph, entire paragraph, which explains the reason for drooping and folding up of the plant leaves, touch me not plant leaves. So what do you expect in the exam? A question can come, what are nastic movements? Give an example and how the movements take place. Explain how the movements takes place in plants. Nastic movements. So please remember, nastic movement is, as we said, generally these movements are in the form of quick responses to the stimulus, but not directional driven. It is not towards the direction of the stimulus. It is independent of the stimulus and growth independent. There is no growth observed over here, and that's all. This information, this paragraph gives you very clearly why there is a folding and drooping. Clear? We'll go to the next one. One more example we'll take now. Tropic movement. This is growth dependent movement. I'll read here and once again we'll have a look at this. Clear? It will take hardly 2 minutes. Growth dependent movement. More commonly, plants respond to stimuli slowly by growing in a particular direction. So generally for the stimulus, the growth dependent movements are slow. There is a slow response by the plants towards the directional movements which are growth dependent movements. Because this growth is directional, it appears as if the plant is moving. Yes, this growth is towards the direction or towards the stimulus or away from the stimulus, and therefore we say that there is a movement due to growth. Okay, some examples we'll see here. Some plants like pea plant climb up other plants or fences by means of tendrils. Here you can see this is not a pea plant, but definitely an example to show that how the tendrils cling to the supports or climb up the supports, isn't it? किसने सिखाया है ये टेंड्रिल को कि ढूंढो इस सपोर्ट को और चढ़ो उसके ऊपर? किसने सिखाया है? Isn't it? So some plants like pea plant climb up to the other plants or fences by means of tendrils. These tendrils are sensitive to touch. Therefore, this is an example for thigmotropism. Tropic movements, we'll see further. This is an example for thigmotropism. Tendrils are sensitive to the touch. When they come in contact with any support, the part of the tendril that is in contact with the object does not grow as rapidly as the part of the tendril away from the object. This causes the tendril to circle around the object and thus cling to it. When they come in contact with any support, the part of the tendril in contact with the object does not grow as rapidly as the part of the tendril away from the object. कैसे आपको बोलूँ अभी मैं? If this is a there, a tendril is surrounding over here. Okay, this way. this way. This side non-contact portion, this side contact portion. Okay, contact portion does not grow at the rate at which the non-contact grows. Non-contact part is outside, that grows faster. The contact portion of the tendril, like this, it grows slowly. Because of the extension of this part and because of this slow growth, it appears that it will take the circular shape over here, and therefore it clings to this one and also climbs up. That is what the description is given. You observe at your homes and all how it is, how it climbs and clings. Okay, so this is an example for the growth dependent movement, which are also the directional movements, and directional movements are controlled by the growth. This is what example one more over here. Even if we keep this plant horizontal, what do you expect? Can we expect this stem to come down, this shoot portion to come down and roots to grow up? Keep it ulta. आप लोग उल्टा रख के देखिए क्या होता है. This pot, hang it to ulta in your home and check what happens. After a few days, again you will observe the roots will come down and the shoots will go up. There are some plants where the shoots also will droop down. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Generally those small pots will be hanged outside the houses, show plants, something like that, where all the stem portion will be towards the gravitational force. That looks beautiful. Fine. Anyway, what I would like to convey to you is the movements over here. The root movements are controlled by the stimulus, the gravitational force. Shoot movement is controlled by also gravitational force. This is against the direction of the stimulus, which is gravity. This growth is towards the direction of the stimulus, that is towards the direction of the gravitational force. So these are growth dependent movements. Here also, of course, I will discuss this. These are growth dependent movements. और क्या डिस्कशन करना है इसमें? Let's see next. Finer classification in the plants, not the plants, movement of the plants. Therefore, the types of movements in the plants can be nastic and tropic movements. Types of movements in plants is classified as nastic and tropic movements. Again, in tropic movements, you have phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism, and thigmotropism. These are the 5 categories of tropic movements. Here it is written very clearly. Nastic movements are growth independent, independent of the stimulus and non-directional. Tropic movements are growth dependent, dependent of the stimulus and the directional growth. So once again the tropic movements have been divided into phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism and thigmotropism. There are a couple of classifications over here, but हमको नहीं चाहिए. Nastic movements is enough for the time being, and we'll keep it as it is. Only nastic movements we'll talk about. The best example, Mimosa pudica, important. And how the communication takes place between the leaves, between the different parts of the plant there. It is by means of electrical and chemical means from cell to cell. That is, the information of the touch is transferred to other parts of the plant by means of electrical and chemical means. And how the drooping and the folding of the leaves take place? By entry of water into the cells causes them to swell, exit of water makes them to shrink, and this changes the shape of the cell, and this makes the movement of the leaves there. So that is what you can say. So nastic movements, tropic movements, these are the classifications. Dear students, I'll end the lecture over here. It is a short lecture but important. Why I took so much of time only to discuss about, actually our part starts from this slide, but you must know the difference and the distinction between growth oriented or growth dependent and growth dependent and growth independent plant movements, and therefore I discussed a few more slides before this classification. So we'll stop this lecture for the time being. In my next class I'll take up phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism and thigmotropism. which are all come under tropic movements, and these are due to phytohormones, or these movements are the results of presence of hormones in plants. So along with this, we are going to study what are the different types of plant hormones and what are their functions. So finally, I gave you a hint. These tropic movements are caused by plant hormones, and therefore we must know the types of the plant hormones and their functions along with these different tropisms. Okay. So let us end the lecture over here and see you in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.